biggest, baddest, and obviously the best working product out there, because it's no point in having the biggest, baddest, and it don't work worth the lick, right?
Absolutely.
Everything that you guys put your name on has a great warranty, has a great name that stands behind it, and that's all we can ask for. All right, so today we're here with a longtime friend, a longtime associate in the business, I would say, a colleague. I feel,
Partner.
yeah, a partner in crime. You my PIC, man. You my PIC, brother. Um, you have been around probably a little bit longer, or maybe we might be around the same time, but we have Tony Geary here today, and I just wanted to first and foremost thank you for coming in today. Thank you so much, Tony.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
No
It's a
problem.
pleasure. We don't get to sit down and take time out of our busy schedules.
Dude, amen to that, bro. I hear that for
We're
sure.
always running around from job sites, sales calls, whatever we're doing. So
Yes, sir. So Tony, thanks for coming in, and my goal here is to try to put the people that we work with, our brothers in arms, I would like to say, right? Because it's a battle every day, brother.
It is.
The people that we do business with and the people that we work with and share our same beliefs and values, I want to put them in front of here, our customers, in front of the cameras, right? So they know who we are and the value that we add to them as a company, right? Because we are a company that believes in that relationship. Regal Pools is,
absolutely.
right? And I think you know that because from our relationship, right? And how long we've known each other, right? And we'll kind of get into this. I guess we'll start getting into it now. But
Let's
Tony,
get to it.
tell me a little bit about how you and I met, man. How long have you been in the business? How do you like your new position that you're in? How's it going for you, brother?
Yeah, so we go way back. I have to go all the way back to when I first started with what was Zodiac Pool Systems in California in 2010. I started in as a tech support rep. So I was in the office taking calls all day long, trying to help people like you out. I loved it, honestly. That's where we first met. So that was 2010. I think you started Regal in 2008-ish.
Yeah, so we were in for a couple years, and then I had worked for one source, and then I worked for Paradise for a little bit, right? So I was finding my way in this thing we call the pool world, right?
Yep.
But throughout that time, you were a person that I would, from time to time, always knew that I can count on you, right? I would always, when I would hear Tony on the line on that tech support. So couple videos ago, I mentioned that I was that guy that used to always want to know how to fix things. I never would accept I would let somebody else deal with that, right? So I was the guy that would open up the panels and I would look at that 1-800 number and I would call Zodiac, right? Which Zodiac is Jandy and Fuji, right? But it's been the same people. Nobody's ever changed. It's always been the same faces, Scott Frost, Brian Bruger, no one's ever changed, right? So that's great. But I was that guy that was always calling that 1-800 number because I didn't know a lick of pools, man. I just knew that they had water and chemicals. And when I started getting into the technical side of things,
Yeah.
I was in for just a whole nother realm, right? And you were that guy that helped me get through that, man. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Honestly, I loved talking to you when I was there. For some reason, all of the calls, because we regionalized the calls that came in depending on the region of the U.S. And I would get typically, Texas area, and it was random when the calls came in. But for some reason, man, I would always get you, and it was nice. It was refreshing because I appreciated the way that you really did want to figure out the problem, step-by-step process, and learn the ins and outs versus just tell me how to fix it, go. You really took the time to go through the process, troubleshoot step by step, learn more about it. And that helped me too, to be a better tech support rep. Honestly, if you haven't sat in front of a computer and had a headset on trying to visualize what your customer is seeing through the phone, trying to paint a
I
picture
never
in
thought about
your
that.
head
Ever
as to
thought about
what
that.
they're seeing and trying to paint a picture in their head as to what you're trying to explain and describe to them. It's a great challenge because, like you, I like to figure out how things work. I like to describe how we can fix things. And talking to you all those years ago, it was a great experience. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
for
was
sure.
nice. We ran into some crazy things, you see some things in the field that
Yeah.
aren't necessarily typical.
Dude, and when we started, uh, working with each other, I think we still had, like, uh is it Teledyne Lars? Was that a
Teledyne
yeah,
Lars, yes, so
dang.
Teledyne Lars were the heaters before, they merged with Jandy,
Yeah.
yes.
So, I used to call, and those were the anomalies that I would look for, like, who do I call to help me out? And I remember, by the way, kudos to, Zodiac for whatever screening process they do to hire their employees. It seems like they ask them if the first and foremost, if they're gonna be in, any type of customer service or tech support, they ask you guys if you're patient because, man, you guys are patient with this,
You have to.
It's, because you're right, it's hard to explain a problem over the phone, and then you try to recreate it or try to figure it out on the other side, in a totally different place, right? So,
It
that
it
that
is.
that would be a huge challenge, right? But I remember like, what made me always remember you, Tony, and it's probably been so long you don't remember it, but what made me always remember the name Tony Geary was I called you one day and I was looking at a really old heater and it was like a millivolt system.
Mm, yep, I remember those.
Man, I was like getting the hang of this stuff, right? So like those older heaters, man, like there's probably a lot of people that don't even know what we're talking about right now, right? But you had to ohm things out and you had to set your meter to certain things, right? And I didn't know how to do that, dude. And I remember I was on the phone with you and you asked me like, "Hey man, can you let me know what this readout is?" And I was like, "What is that?" And you said, "You know that little omega sign on the," and that's how you helped me, man. And that little thing that you did, Tony, is the reason why like I know you, man, and the reason why I would always remember you. And when I would call and I would get you on the line, I knew that I had somebody that was equally invested in the problem that I was involved in. And bro, that it means the world to a guy when they're learning how to fix things, right? Especially pool
Absolutely.
related things that they've never worked on because my background is actually HVAC, which did kind of help a little bit, right? But I didn't know nothing about these heaters, man. So the fact that you were able to just be patient and listen and hear me out, and I'll be darned, dude, you sure did. We figured it out. The heater ended up working.
Yeah,
It was pretty cool to be successful with the help of someone, that was really cool, man.
absolutely. It's a process, and, I've gotta give kudos to our tech support team because it being there and experiencing we've got a lot of calls, and you're out in the field here in Texas, which I didn't relocate for another few years, but I understand that when you're standing out there in front of the equipment, sweating, you can't see anything, and you're trying to figure this out while you're trying to hold the phone to your ear. It's difficult.
It is.
So taking the patience and the time, I think it goes a long way to just not try to get the call done,
Yes, sir.
right?
Right.
Take your time to try to fix it in one call.
I feel that's the day and age we're in now, where people get you on the phone to get you off the phone as soon as possible because they're being monitored on the amount of time, right? And I, I really do feel that Zodiac and Jandy never had that issue. You guys never ever rushed anybody. Before you hang up, what would you say before you would hang up? Like, is there any
Is there anything else you need?
every
Anything else I can
time?
do for you?
Is it
Yes,
still the same, Tony? Is that
absolutely.
process, is that program, is that support
Yeah, I
line
mean,
still the same?
I'm not there day to day, but I do call in myself when I need something. And yeah, they take
Dude,
the
you're lying.
time.
There's
I
no
do.
way you're calling.
I
Bro, when
absolutely.
I need some Jandy help, I call you. So it's very rare that you're calling anybody, Tony.
There are a few things that I don't know everything. But, when you talk about, just talking about the culture of our company, if I can just go to that, we have we have values. We have core values, right? One of them is learn and adapt, right? So you have to, if you don't adapt, you're gonna get left
That's
behind.
just the way it goes,
You know,
man.
so obviously the company changes, but the core culture that we've developed stays the same. And I think I can still see that, you know, I do call tech support. I do need things from them as well. And they help me out every time. So I think that's very important where I've gone in my career with Jandy, with Fluidra. It's the culture that has helped me move along because passion for success, customer collaboration, excellence and innovation, teamwork and inclusion, learning and adapting, honesty and trust. Those are all core values. Those aren't the only values, but
Right.
I feel those values myself.
Yeah. A lot of those actually align with ours, right? So the core
Absolutely.
values, it's crazy how you're saying those, right? And I'm listening to them, and, honesty, integrity, is one of ours, right? So, um, it's cool that you bought into that, because you have to buy into it in order for it to work. If you go against the grain, you usually get taken off that plank, right? You usually get thrown off the plank, off that ship, right? Because
Absolutely.
you're going against the grain. That resistance never gets you anywhere. The goal is to believe in those core values and really embody them, right? We have an MVP that we do every month here at Regal. We do an MVP belt, right? So the most valuable player here, doesn't matter who it is, what department or anything, right? And we don't give that out lightly. You have to embody our core values, and you have to bleed them, man. You got to breathe them and bleed them, brother, and you have to be part of this thing that we call Regal Pools. And when we give that MVP belt out, man, you can just see the pride in the person when they come up,
Yep.
because we really do feel that all of our employees are bought in. That makes us a great company that we've become today.
You're absolutely right, and you do share a lot of the core values. I mean, the integrity. I know, innovation, integrity, um, those are extremely important because, I mean, without integrity, it's if you do what you would normally do, you know, when people are not looking, if you do the right thing versus if everyone's looking.
If that's not a core value for you,
This is
Tony, you're
huge.
not gonna understand that. You will never like, that's why I always say we do the right thing.
You do the right thing all the time, whether people are looking or not. And you're just like our company, your company, you create and develop those that company culture
Yep.
based around you have to have something, you have to have core values to base that company culture around. And yes, there are gonna be some who come and go, who either don't believe in it or whatever the
Or
reason
don't buy
is,
all the way in, whatever it might
and
be,
you
right?
know they're not gonna fit and they're gonna go their own way. But, I mean, I've been with the company for 15 years now.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
amazing, man.
I believe I embody those core values as well in my
100%.
personal life, and it makes a
100%.
huge
Yes,
difference.
sir. Your dedication, brother, is just bar none, dude. Like, I can call you whenever. I've called you on weekends. I've called you on Sundays. I've called you just at every which time, and you've always been there for me, man. And if you don't answer, you'll usually text me and say, "Hey, I'll call you right back." Right? So, like, I 100 believe that about you, Tony. What position are you in now? What do you do at your company now?
So I'll tell you where I came from. So we talked a little bit about me in tech support,
Yes.
started in 2010. I was always, before I, joined the company, I was doing a lot of, outside contracting work for telecommunications. So I was doing piecework up and down, in California, from San Francisco to San Diego, and I really liked figuring things out, doing piecework, hustling. You get paid on the jobs you did, and I really enjoyed that. So going into tech support, I loved it. I loved talking to everybody. I loved solving problems. It gives me satisfaction
Right.
to
Same
try to
here.
help people's issues
Same here.
or technical problems or sales problems, whatever it may be. Um, and I think that that was great for the time, and then I wanted to get it back out in the field. So
Right.
in 2013, a spot opened up in Houston as a territory service manager, and that's when we used to talk on the phone. I said, "Hey, I'm coming out. I'm coming to Houston."
And I would always be like on the other line, like after you'd save my butt, right? You're like the hero in the cape. And I'd be like, Tony, would you come to Houston? I'm gonna take you to a big old steak dinner, or we're gonna go out, dude, and I'm gonna just buy everything because you're the man, right? And then you've been here, and I don't think that's happened yet, right? I don't think a steak dinner's been. I
We've
owe you
had
a steak
dinners. I
dinner,
don't think
man.
we'll do a steak dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, yeah. So man, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool, man.
so I did come out here obviously in 2013, and I remember being
So
on a
happy for
job
it.
with you,
Yes, sir.
and we were going through, and it was kinda surreal because we weren't on the phone with each
I
other.
know.
We were seeing each
I
other face
remember
to
that.
face
I
and putting
remember
hands
that.
on the equipment
Yeah,
and
yeah.
making sure everything worked right, and it was great, and, so that's kinda the evolution, to get back out in the field for me, and it was fantastic because then I got my hands on, which I had, but, talking on the phone, you can only go so far. So the hands-on being able to take care of any issues or just help with training and education was fantastic.
Yes,
And
sir.
then a couple of years later in 2015, a position opened in sales, and I already had relationships with a lot of the builders
Including us.
that we had,
Yep.
especially you. Yep. And I just seamlessly transitioned over to sales. But I like to think of myself as a more technical
You've
sales
always said that. You've always said that, you know?
business partner,
Yeah, right.
trusted
Yes,
advisor.
sir. And by all means, man, I trust you. You know, like I took you to a really big project that we did in Houston. It was a lazy river pool. It had two systems, and I asked you to go out there. And I think you and Sean
Mhm.
went out there, right?
Yep.
And Sean is our warranty, right?
Yeah, he's our territory service
He's our
manager.
territory service manager, right? Great guy, by the way. You guys went out there and y'all looked at everything. You gave us your recommendations. We did it exactly how you guys asked, and I have not had any issues with that pool. And it has two RS16s
I
on the
remember
same
on
property,
either
you
side.
know.
Yeah,
So it's that, you know, that commitment that you guys at Jandy have given us that puts a value to Regal, that gives the value back to the customer, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And I just have to say I can't say enough about the team. I don't do it on my own. Our
Nobody
territory
ever
service
does, brother.
manager, Sean does a phenomenal job. We're all partners here,
Yes, sir.
and I think you're right. That's what makes a company special is if they can go that extra mile, just and it's simple things, just be there, be accessible, answer your phone, try to do as much as you can. Answer your phone even if you're on vacation on the weekend. If I'm by my phone and I'm not doing anything, I'm answering my
Yeah.
phone or I'm texting
I
someone
believe
back.
that 100% because I've seen it.
Absolutely.
I've seen it time and time again in the 15 years that we've known each other, right? I've seen that just consistently out of you, where I know that I could call you on a Sunday and I try my best not to. I promise you, bro. You
That's
know,
all right.
but
Yeah.
there's those days where I'm like, that's what I tell my customers. I had an interview here earlier. I was doing a one with the customer, Ashley, and I was telling her, like, I want something to go bad. I want something to go bad when you have a bunch of people and I want you to pick up the phone and call me because I want to be the guy to pick up the phone, right?
Yeah.
There is just a reward there, you know, for that customer when they hear that. They're like, wow, I have somebody that I can depend on. And it's so nice because with the Jandy system, when we start the pools up, we literally install the Jandy. We go there, we go to the antenna, we add the antenna to our profiles, right?
Hmm.
And now we really don't even have to go to the job
Yeah,
site,
you can do this remotely.
right? Like we can literally look at what's going on. She says, "Hey, my spa's not heating," and you can see that she just didn't hit the save button on her temperature.
Something
Hit the
simple.
save button on your temperature. You
Absolutely.
know, because it won't heat if you don't do that, right? So it's just those simple things that will allow us to no longer have to go all the way to the job site when it's just a user error, right? So that's been a marvelous thing about Jandy and the automation and the infinity lights, bro. Let me give you kudos on that. They did a great job on those, the way that you can zone those out and how you can stack them and how you can load them up, right? It's amazing how that was done. It's been a great addition to the product line. It really has been.
That's great to hear, and yeah, the very feature-rich, new infinite watercolor lights, you're right. I mean, to be able to communicate to your lights versus having to, use a relay and have them switch on and off to get to your colors, now it's just instant gratification. color palettes that you can choose. Yeah, zoning. You can, up to 4 zones that you can put any of your lights on. It
Crazy.
just gives you so much
It
flexibility.
really does.
And I think the homeowners are really enjoying that experience. So I'm glad you're using that. And you build such amazing pools.
Thank you,
You
Tony.
really do.
Thank you so much.
And our equipment is just an extension of what you're doing, to make everything, work and look right, on
100%.
on the equipment side. But you do build an amazing pool.
The fact that we are a premier builder and we have a 3-year warranty with the product, it gives us that confidence to know that the product we are using is the right product for us. And it's been a relationship and a commitment that we've made with you guys now going on 15, 16 years,
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, we try to be easy to do business with. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can do that, that will help everybody in the long run.
Cool.
Yep.
Tony, is there anything else you want to add, man? Is there any cool stuff that I should be looking out for? Is there anything that you want to let our viewers or the people that are looking here know about your product and your company that you would like to share?
Would I will say TBD on future product
There's always stuff
roadmaps.
coming out, man.
There is new stuff on the horizon.
Nice.
I can say that, at the end of the day, I mean, when you look at our equipment, we engineer it and we design it to be hydraulically efficient and energy efficient. We try to do it in a sustainable and responsible way, so that at the end of the day, you want to save money on circulating your pool. You want it to be aesthetically pleasing. You want it to be feature rich. And I think we accomplish all of that on the equipment product side. And I think we try every day to be the best we can on a customer service side as well.
And that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
That's it.
And it's just consistently getting better from wirelessly assigning the pumps, right? The virtual assignment of the pumps, right? The lights, right? The automation continue, like the Aqualink antennas. Remember the first run, right? Like, and then just progressively, just things get better. That's just the way it is, right? Like you said, you have to continue to move on with the times in order to survive.
Absolutely. Everything
Jandy
evolves.
has done that.
We've evolved. We've been more innovative. I mean, as long as you embrace that, you'll be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And you are, obviously. You guys
100%.
are
We're on the cutting edge,
completely
man. We try to
innovative.
always have the biggest, baddest, and obviously the best working product out there. Because it's no point in having the biggest, baddest, and it don't work worth the lick, right?
Absolutely.
Everything that you guys put your name on has a great warranty, has a great name that stands behind it, and that's all we can ask for.
It's that support after it's there.
Yes, sir.
On the pad that you can feel comfortable.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming in, Tony. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Edwin.
No problem,
It's been
man.
a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate
you.
it.